This session on reasoning is about decision making. In this kind of a question, you will be given a framework, criteria, or a set of rules, and you will have to make a decision based on these facts, based on this set of rules. These could be eligibility criteria for a job, criteria for shortlisting candidates for the IBPS mains. This could be a criteria for, say, admission to an educational institute, and so on. The question structure will be as follows. You would be provided with this one set of criteria, one set of rules. You would have about 4 to 5 situations for making a decision on the basis of these rules. You would have multiple choices for your decision options, and you would have to choose the correct decision out of the 5 choices provided. Let us look at how to approach and solve this kind of a decision making problem. Step 1 is to understand the decision making criteria that have been provided to you. This is important because you have to use the same criteria to answer about 4 or 5 questions. Step 2 is to apply this criteria to the situation provided, and step 3 is to find the correct answer, solve for the question. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Here we have a set of 4 criteria for a candidate for a PN post. They are as follows. 1. The candidate must be less than 30 years of age. 2. He should have secured more than 60% in the 10th class. 3. Should have work experience of 2 years. And 4. Be trained in operating photocopy machines. Step 1 is to understand the criteria. Upon reading this, we understand that anyone who wants to be a PN must satisfy each of these 4 conditions. That is, if you want to be a PN, you should be less than 30 years of age, you should have had more than 60% in your 10th class, you should have worked for at least 2 years, and you should be trained in operating photocopy machines. Now that we understood what the criteria is, we go to the next step, which is applying criteria to a given situation. Now let's say we are given this situation in the following question. The situation reads as, Rahul is 27 years old. He has worked for 2 years as a PN in a government office. He knows how to use photocopy machines and he has scored 59.5% in his 10th class exams. Rahul is 27 years old, hence he is less than 30 years of age. So he satisfies the first condition. He has scored 59.5% in his 10th class, hence he does not satisfy condition number 2, which says he should have secured more than 60%. So he does not satisfy that particular condition. He has 2 years of work ex and he knows how to use photocopy machine. Now after applying this criteria to Rahul's situation, we see that he satisfies 3 of the conditions and does not satisfy 1 of the conditions. Therefore, in the last step when we solve for the question, we figure out that Rahul is not eligible for this peon post. Let's look at some tips and shortcuts on how to solve this kind of a question. First, read carefully. Now this kind of a question is generally very easy. How to solve it in a set of rules is already provided to you. You just have to apply the set of rules to a given information. Therefore, you shouldn't lose out marks on something you missed out on. About 4 or 5 questions will be asked regarding the given set of criteria, and it's very easy to get all 4 or 5 of them correct. So you must read the criteria very carefully. Second, learn how to calculate ages. Sometimes the age won't be directly given. In the solved example that we just did, Rahul's age was already given as 27 years. But sometimes you wouldn't have the age given directly. For instance, you might have a sentence that says Seema was born on 14th March 1988 instead of saying Seema is 27 years old. So in that case, what you would have to do is you need to practice calculating ages from a given birth date. That is, if I give you the date of birth as 14 March 1988, you should be able to calculate that the person is 27 years old.